Minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Oh, hello there. Sorry you snuck up on me. Good morning. I'll be with you for an hour today. Songs. Mr. Potter, who normally joins us on Wednesday, and I'm sorry because I know many of you will miss his presence, as will I, but he's on vacation. Well-deserved, no doubt. So he will be back next week. But today it's you and me. I do have a guest that we're going to be talking to in about half an hour, Jerry Zolten, who is sort of the impresario putting together a number of centenary conferences and concerts and all kinds of things having to do with Woody Guthrie, who was born 100 years ago, actually in July, but there are celebrations going on all year, even in Europe. I mean, big festivals. Woody Guthrie, I always think of as quintessentially an American treasure, but I'm looking at some of the things that are going on, and they're going on in, in Germany and in Belgium and all kinds of other places. So obviously he's bigger than I thought, and big he is. So we'll talk about Woody Guthrie, his impact, his bio, and how you can celebrate, because one of the big events is going to be held actually at State College, an entire weekend in September. Conferences, a lot of music, obviously, but a lot of almost academic issues about Woody, his music, the impact of his music, the politics of the music, the social did I just say social impact already of the music? It's huge. Huge. So we'll talk some about Woody Guthrie, probably, as I said, in about half hour. Okay? Up until then, it'll just be me and you on another beautiful August day, August 8th, to be exact. Oh, well, I got a few things here. Not a lot of them heavy, thank God, because it seems like every time we start to talk, things get very heavy, very fast, and I'm going to have to pace myself because I've already lost my ability to pay much attention to the presidential race. I can't. It is as ugly as we suspected it would be. Ugly earlier than I would have expected. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but we've got some time between now and the elections. The election, we haven't even had the conventions yet, and I don't know that I'm going to have the stamina to see it through. I know a lot of you actually have more ability in that area than I do. I mean, you never seem to lose your your ability and or desire to speak about all things political. Me, I can lose it very quickly. I've got a few political things here. I'll throw them into the mix, and then I want to just let it go, unless you guys want to keep talking about it. The most horrific story that I came across today, and was really stunned that I didn't read this. I swear to God, I didn't read this in the Post-Gazette today. I didn't see it in the USA Today, in the Wall Street Journal, in the New York Times, unless I missed it. But to me, this is one of those stories that, people need to know about. And I don't know how anyone in their right mind could agree with what happened yesterday in Texas. Do you know what happened? I mean, obviously, a lot of things happened yesterday in Texas. But some of the things we think about when we think of Texas, at least I do, is that if Texas were a person, it would be the largest serial killer in American history. Texas absolutely seems to have an insatiable appetite for killing people in the name of justice. And they've added another to that incredible and award-winning, not award-winning, well, yeah, it wins first place list. They killed someone yesterday in the name of justice. His name was Marvin Wilson. His IQ was 61. Now, I believe that an IQ of 61 is extraordinarily intellectually disabled. And I cannot believe that it is not unconstitutional in this country to put a man to death when he does not have the capacity to comprehend perhaps what he's done, what is being done to him. He was convicted in a shooting death of another man, and I know the Supreme Court has spoken recently on the fact that you can't give a life sentence without a chance of parole to juveniles, which seems like a good idea too. But I'm stunned that the court has never had a case where they said you cannot. And am I forgetting something, that you cannot put to death somebody who can't comprehend? One of the things that we saw with the guilty pleas yesterday of Jared Loughner, the would-be killer of Gabby Giffords, and indeed the killer of many others, was that he could not even be tried until the court agreed that he was in fact competent to comprehend what was going on. An IQ of 61 is not, I don't think, capable of the level of comprehension. So anyway, Texas doesn't give a damn. They killed him yesterday. Pronounced dead yesterday evening at 6:30. His last words were, "Y'all understand that I came here a sinner and am leaving a saint. Take me home, Jesus. Take me home." And you wonder what he understood. Y'all understand. Somebody gave him solace by telling him that. Unbelievable. And, the blood of all of these people that are murdered by the state is obviously on the hands of the people in that state. And I don't know how Texas, well, what am I talking about? They're in another world. They are in another world, and I don't want to visit it. Obits today. We obviously noted the passing of Marvin Hamlisch yesterday, and wow, he's getting, just huge coverage and accolades, front page, network news. Did you know how big he was? There's only one other person who did what Marvin Hamlisch did in the history of modern music, and that is to win every artistic award possible, to get every single one. And in his case, he got multiple ones. That is, to get a Grammy, a Tony, an Emmy, an Oscar, a Pulitzer. I think I named all the biggies. And then obviously a million more. He did it. There was only one other person who's ever done it. And perhaps you know, and if you don't, I guess I'll tell you. It was the great Richard Rodgers, as in Rodgers and Hammerstein, or Stein, whatever. But another death that I want to note, the passing of the tart-tongued film critic Judith Crist. And I think a lot of Americans probably do remember her because she had a very high profile. She wrote for, it seems like, everybody. And then she also appeared regularly on the Today Show with her film criticism. And this must have been before, what's his name, who looks like Groucho Marx, or the guy with all the eyebrows and mustache, Gene Shalit. Judith Crist was absolutely, she terrified people who were on the receiving end of her criticism. Movie director Billy Wilder famously said that inviting Judith Crist to review your movie is like inviting the Boston Strangler to give you a neck massage. So, but I love this. I just have to share this one with you. It's about The Sound of Music, which she loathed. Now, if you think of The Sound of Music, that's one of those, it must have won the Academy Award that year, right? And it was just beloved. People couldn't get enough. How many times? The music still assaults us. It's endless. And I have to admit, I loved it the first time I saw it. And I happened to come upon it not too long ago and tried to watch the movie and couldn't. It was so sappy, so ridiculous to me. So I finally got around to what Judith Crist experienced the very first time she saw it, and here is what she said. It is, amongst many things, and she said, it is fit for the 5 to 7-year-old set and their mommies who think their kids aren't up to the stinging sophistication and biting wit of Mary Poppins. So, I love it. That's a twofer. That's a wonderful put down of two beloved musicals, family musicals. And it's not that she couldn't like a musical and or a family-oriented film because she could. Anyway, I didn't always agree with her. She famously was all over Cleopatra with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. But, a great wit, and a teacher. I believe she taught at NYU for 40 or 50 years and taught critical writing. And some of the most well-regarded current critics, not just film, but, books and other things, dance, are her former students who took her class at NYU. So she's, I know, in the pantheon of movie critics, she is definitely right at the top, and she'll be missed. Judith Crist. 2 questions about the Olympics for you, and I'm throwing these out. Someone asked me this question the other day, and I hazarded a reply, which they didn't buy, but I still think I'm right, and I want to know if you agree with me. Here was the question, and maybe you've noticed this. Why don't any of the women athletes at the Olympics have boobs?
Too much muscle?
Now, Jess has answered it's all their muscle, and boobs ain't muscle. Boobs, I like to tell people, are sacks of fat. Okay? That's all they are, sacks of fat. And I was, the greatest diet I could lose 10, 15 pounds. A lot of weight. A lot of women carry a lot of weight in boobs. Anyway, and I don't think that should count. Do you? Do you think boob weight should count in your overall weight? Because sometimes you can't help it. I mean, you can diet and diet and diet, and your boobs won't go down. Anyway, why aren't there any boobs on and are there any? Has anybody seen boobs on a female athlete? Hello? Are you there?
I'm here. This is Robert.
Hi, Robert.
Listen, I have news for you.
What?
Guys love these sacks of fat.
Yes, I know they do, and that's why I love calling them sacks of fat, because I...
Well, there is no more beautiful sack of fat. But I think you hit it. The reason these girls don't have much in that department, these girls are full of muscle, and they do that. What's that gauge? They pinch your side, the fat ratio. What's that thing called?
The BMI.
Yes, that's
body mass index, right?
I mean, if you saw this young girl, Gabby Douglas, some of these photographs, she is just a solid mass of muscle.
Right, total muscle.
So I think there's very little fat in their bodies.
That's what I said. They have no fat. They're all muscle. But then this person said, but I have seen women who seem to be all muscle, but they still have boobs.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't think that's true, because as I said, and you didn't necessarily suggest that I was incorrect, boobs are merely sacks of fat.
Yeah. That's all I had. Talk to you again, babe.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Well, they do, other than titillating men, they do have the capacity to nurture infants. But yeah, that's what I think. But I mean, really, the runners, the swimmers, the divers, the gymnasts. Now, I bet you'll see boobs on like a skeet shooter or something. But yeah. So anyway, that I just wanted to ask. There's no boobs. Even the beach volleyball, which like the men supposedly love to ogle. The only thing they're ogling, they ain't ogling boobs there, because there are no boobs in evidence in beach volleyball. There's beautiful long legs and tight little derrieres and stuff like that. But boobs, my God! I mean, they could wear training bras. There's nothing there at all. Okay. Ooh, this just in. Charlie Deitch from the courthouse downtown, Federal Building. It's being reported that the jury has, in fact, reached a verdict on one count. One of 3. There are 3 counts. Wow. That would be something in and of itself, because a verdict would have to be unanimous. If they've managed to reach a verdict on one count, to me, that would be breathtaking. Apparently, they are still struggling on the other two. Charlie was on the show, has been through the trial since day one, covered the story since day one. And he was on the show Monday, and we were saying that we would both be simply stunned if this jury was able to reach any verdict at all. And the assumption being that it would be a hung jury, which it appeared to be heading toward yesterday when they told the judge they couldn't reach agreement. Now there is, I don't think this is, he is crediting the Post-Gazette, saying that there has been a unanimous verdict reached on one of the three counts. So and promises to keep us updated. So we will keep you updated as well. Wow, that would be something. Okay, my other Olympic tidbit. The Wall Street Journal asked this question today. You've just won an Olympic gold medal, the culmination of a lifetime of training and sacrifice. You're standing on the podium, the flag is rising, the national anthem is blaring. How are you going to react? Are you going to stand stoically, or are you going to turn into a blubbering mess of mucus and tears? I have no doubt which one I would be. I would definitely be the latter. I even break in. I start crying looking at people standing on the podium. If I were actually standing there, good God. And it amazes me when some of these people, having reached the peak, don't. They somehow manage to keep it in check. Somebody's actually tallied it all up. And the Stoics do win in terms of fewer cry than stand there stoically. More women, oh, big shocker here, cry than men. But when men cry on the podium, they tend to be the ones who lose it the most, more than women. If they cry, they tend to really cry, as this poor guy in the Dominican Republic who had won the 400-meter hurdles. Apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently he just, could barely, couldn't hold himself together at all. And I don't blame him. Among the three countries with the most gold medals, that would be China, the United States, and Great Britain. Which do you think cries the least? The athletes of which country cry the least? Jess? China, Great Britain, U.S.
Great Britain.
Great Britain? You're buying that stiff upper lip crap? What nonsense. No! It's the Chinese. They don't cry. Only 7% of China's athletes shed even one tear while on the podium. Meanwhile, it's the Brits who are the blubberers. The Brits and their stiff upper lip. All these mythologies. Yesterday we were picking apart that, women and children to the lifeboats first mythology, which is not true. Women and children die more than men because men trample women and children, as our clever wit, Margaret, who emails, said yesterday, men on a sinking ship look at a young child and see a flotation device. Okay, so, the Brits, over 1/3 of the Brits lose it. 7% of the Chinese, 1/3 of the Brits, and the United States, pretty stoic. We just come in at about 18% of criers. That's all. By far, 4/5 plus of our athletes do not cry. Also, the Chinese sing their national anthem while on the podium more than any other people, and that's probably because they're not crying. They got to do something. Americans are the ones who sing the national anthem the least, and I would suggest because they don't know the words. And if you see the ones that do, sometimes you can read their lips as they're getting the words wrong anyway. 92% of the Chinese stoically sing their anthem. 61% of the Brits sing God Save the Queen, and a mere 44% of the American winners sing or attempt to sing the Star Spangled Banner. Okay. I'm just tap dancing around here, doing whatever it is. Did you hear Romney's latest gaffe? Speaking in West Des Moines last night, he said this. Was he in West Des Moines? He said something to the effect of, why isn't this here like it should be? We had a moment of silence in honor of the people who lost their lives at that Sheek temple. Among them are the fact that people, the Sheek people, twice he said Sheek instead of Sikh. So it was the Sheek temple and the Sheek people. And of course, anybody listening might well have thought he was talking about a fancy schmancy place, a chic. But that's what he said. And you got to wonder how do you make that mistake? Maybe you just don't really know. You never were aware that there was a Sikh religion. Very odd. Anyway, I know it's nitpicky, but it's fun. What else do I have here? This. We had a caller yesterday who said she had her first trip to New York and how wonderful it was. Geez, listen to this. In New York, you know how New York, and Susan was saying, you can eat at one of the vendor places on the sidewalk, although I don't really agree with that. Or go into a little dive. That's some of the best food and affordable food in the city, but you got to know which dive. Anyway, is it tomorrow? In the next few days, there's going to be some different push carts plying the streets of Manhattan. And New Yorkers, even New Yorkers, I think, are going to do a double take at what's being offered in these push carts. Actually, today's the first day, and tomorrow. And the push carts, I've got a picture of one here. They're called the pleasure carts. And they will be actually giving away what they have. They're not even selling their wares. They look like hot dog carts. But instead, and in fact, the thing that they're giving looks a little like a hot dog, but in fact is a vibrator. They will be handing out 10,000 free vibrators on the streets of New York. East side, west side, all around the square. This is sponsored by, this will be a shock to you, Trojan Vibrations. This is a line of sexual enhancement devices. And, wow, I mean, these things, the ones they're giving away cost like $30 a piece. And they're giving away, 10,000. Let's see. The Trojan devices. Well, see, this is how far things have come. I mean, you couldn't even say vibrator 10 years ago. You wouldn't have even. And I have to admit, I was shocked to see vibrators in the drugstore. They're totally mainstream now. These used to be one of those things you didn't even mention, let alone could you possibly have even seen one. Now, according to studies, almost half of all men, actually half of women, say they have used a vibrator, and 44% of men. And Trojan sees a big market here because clearly, now that they're out in the open, folks are using them, and they're at Walmart, for God's sakes. You can get your vibrators at Walmart. That's how totally not a big deal this is anymore. So anyway, now they're going to have Trojan pleasure cart vibrator carts in New York. And I guess there's a website that you can go to find out where the carts are at any given moment if you want to score a vibrator. The head of this Trojan line says, "People are clamoring for the vibrators, and we thought by giving out more, it would, well, give us more buzz, so to speak." All right, so it's Vibrator Day in New York. Wait, Mary wants to get in here on boobs. A muscular, low-fat woman with boobs has implants. I would think so, too. It's obvious in women's bodybuilding. A contestant either has no boobs whatsoever or she's got ridiculously phony boobs. Yeah, if you get rid of your body fat, your boobs disappear. Ooh. And this quickly from Allison. I can only listen to you on the weekends now, so I'm not sure what your subject is today, but my good news of the day is that Eric Cantor is in trouble. What kind of trouble? I've known this for a while, even sent money to the candidate running against him? Oh, come on. Cantor could lose? Also, my opinion, not fact, the reason Romney won't release his taxes is not because he didn't pay them, but that he's got horrific refunds. Maybe. I don't know. I doubt that, because to get refunds, I doubt that. I don't know. I don't know. So, oops, and Margaret says there was a runner yesterday in the Olympics. Let me get to who had boobs, and she must have had implants. Maybe so. And then again, maybe not. But have you ever seen what, most of us are regular human beings, right? And when you look at the bodies on these people and what they can do, it's amazing. It really is amazing what, talk about not reaching our potential. When you look at those people and then you look at yourself, you think, okay, I guess I didn't push my body like I could have. Margaret also writes that vibrators can double as hand mixers, so they can get a lot of, you can make pancakes with them. Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back, Jerry Zolten will be with us from the Netherlands, somewhere of Pennsylvania, and we're talking about the great Woody Guthrie.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Laser Hair and Skin Center has been providing professional, affordable services for over 10 years. Now they're proud to exclusively offer RegenLite acne treatment. RegenLite is an FDA-approved, non-invasive drug, chemical, and pain-free treatment of all grades of acne. With RegenLite, you will experience a 50% improvement in less than 2 weeks, with lasting improvement for up to 12 weeks. Call the Laser Hair and Skin Center today at 412-373-1700 and receive $100 off your first session. Or go to mylaserhair.com for more information and to see their full line of services. The Laser Hair and Skin Center.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement.
Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know They're probably just a little bit nervous.
You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up! Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Pittsburgh City Paper is now available on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com to read this week's digital issue or search for restaurants, bars, concerts, events, and movies on any portable device. Plus blogs, Lynn Cullen, City Guide, CPTV, and Best of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Okay. Hello. We're back. Jess is getting Jerry on the line. We're having a little difficulty with telephones, but she's got him. And do you have him now, or are you calling him back?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. So I'll.
Ready?
You do have him?
Yeah. We're gonna see if this works.
Okay.
If
go
it
ahead.
doesn't work, I'll try the help.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hello. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay.
Do you have Jerry?
All things are good.
They are? Okay. Wow.
Things are wonderful.
Are they? I would never say
Indeed.
such a thing. Okay, Jerry. Okay.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I know. All things are wonderful. You know, we tend to be.
That's right.
We tend to be a
Let's
little
keep
bit
deluding ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Because on this program, we tend to be sort of in a much more negative frame of mind. However, this is like we don't have to be negative now because we're talking about this year-long celebration of the 100 years ago that I almost said Woody Allen.
Well, you know,
oh, geez.
He's next.
Yeah, he's closing in on it, isn't he?
Yeah. Woody Guthrie was born, I think it was July 14th, 100 years, and there's been a countrywide, worldwide, literally, celebration of Woody's centennial, and among all the concerts and other things, 4 universities around the country were selected to take part in the celebration, and I'm happy to say that Penn State is one of them. And our celebration is coming up the weekend of September 7 through 9, coming up soon. A month away.
Yeah, it is. So, okay, that's the first weekend in September at Penn State. Is this something that you have to register for, or?
Well, some of it's not just a single thing. There are so many things going on. Some of them are free and open to the public. Some of them do require registration. I guess I should say that anybody interested can go to there's a national website called woodyatt100.com. That's the number 100 and the @ woodyatt100.com. And if you go there and look to the right, you'll see educational conferences, and you can get to our website. The more enterprising people out there can just type in Woodyatt100 at Penn State on Google and also come up with our website. So we do have a one-day conference. It's a real populist conference. There'll be writers like Will Kaufman, whose new book on Woody Guthrie, American Radical, is recently out. My favorite paper, a young lady from Cincinnati, 14 years old. Her mom is driving her in. Her theme, what relevance does Woody Guthrie have to a 14-year-old in the 20th century, you know?
Oh, my gosh.
And there are going to be filmmakers. There's going to be people like Cy Khan, all taking part in sessions on Saturday the 8th, and that's what you have to register for.
Okay. And so you've put this whole thing together? When you said Penn State was chosen by who? Who are the grand poobahs here?
Well, the Nora Guthrie is really spearheading this at the Guthrie Foundation, and she's working with the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles.
Oh.
And the Grammy Museum is actually overseeing the production of these events all over the country. And Bob Santelli, who's a fairly well-known writer on rock and roll and the director of the Grammy Museum, was telling me about this about a year ago, and when he said that universities would be involved, I raised my hand, and said, hey, we would love to do this. And so the question became, why Pennsylvania? Why Penn State? The other locations, California, New York, Oklahoma, all had to do with, geographic ties to Woody.
Right.
But I made the case that here we are in the middle of a working-class country, coal mining, farming, railroading, and Woody, as you know, stood up for people in all of these areas, and they agreed that this would be a fitting place to have an event that speaks to Woody's legacy to working people.
So that is the focus of the celebration.
It is and isn't. The music is always ultimately a big focus, but we have a lot of, there's going to be a Friday night concert, for example, at the State Theater in downtown State College, devoted to a night of songs in the labor tradition. There are going to be some Pittsburghers performing on that show. But the headliner is Cy Khan, who is a well-known organizer and folk artist. But from Pittsburgh, we've got Ann Feeney coming up, and Mike Stout is going to be here. And we've got Joe Uline, who's also been out there fighting the good fight. And Paul Stuckey of Peter, Paul, and Mary will be here as well. And so that's just one of the, secondary events that is happening.
I'm looking at a quote.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at a quote from Woody from that. By the way, this Woody at 100 is a wonderful site. I mean, there's so much on it. And this quote,
oh yes,
wow. This quote says, "Here's Woody Guthrie. There's several ways of saying what's on your mind, and in states and counties where it ain't any too healthy to talk too loud, speak your mind, or even to vote like you want to, folks have found other ways of getting the word around. One of the mainest ways is by singing. Drop the word folk and just call it real old honest-to-God American singing. No matter who makes it up, no matter who sings it and who don't, if it talks the lingo of the people, it's a cinch to catch on and will be sung here and yonder for a long time after you've cashed in your chips. If the fight gets hot, the songs get hotter. If the going gets tough, the songs get tougher." He really was. I mean, would you call him, there's so many things you could apply to him. Was he a songwriter more than a political activist? Was he did his politics infuse his music? Did his music...
I don't know if he could separate those things.
Oh.
I think that's part of his brilliance and his legacy. I had an incredible opportunity to talk at length with Pete Seeger a couple weeks ago, and Pete said that Woody was the most creative person he ever met. He described how when they travel, whether it be by car or whatever, Woody was constantly writing lyrics down on pages and leaving them like Johnny Appleseed, I think part of Woody's legacy is that he understood if you tell people stories and you package them in a song, an entertainment, you can really get your message across. And Woody covered the whole gamut, from songs like Deportee that speak to, immigrant farm workers being deported, to songs that celebrated America, Grand Coulee Dam, and of course, This Land is Your Land, and all those things. Yeah. Woody, untrained, he really didn't, a lot of people don't realize it, or maybe they do, he didn't write those melodies. He borrowed most of the melodies from pre-existing folk songs and simply put lyrics of his own to those songs.
So
one of the things people who come up to the Woody celebration that Penn State could see at no cost will be an exhibit curated by the Grammy Museum of song sheets, drawings, and original bits and pieces of Woody Guthrie memorabilia. That's going to be at the Borland Gallery on the Penn State campus. So, Woody figured it out.
Jerry, I hate to, again, inject a negative note, but it's just a realistic note. When we were talking months and months and months ago, you had told me that Pete Seeger had said that he didn't want this to be an airbrushed celebration of
right.
Of
yeah,
Woody.
Pete said to me, "Now, don't be putting Woody up on a pedestal. He was not perfect. He has a track record of abandoning several families of his and just walking away from things."
He wasn't a good
But that said, it's his body of work ultimately that prevails. I think he represents some terrific ideals. One of them being always look out, for what's best for the other guy, and always stand up for your rights and things like that. Those are the things that come through and that are worth trumpeting, I think, and that's what we're going to try to do in the conference and the concerts that go with this.
Yeah, I'm giving more Woody quotes as that I'm seeing them here.
Okay.
The note, and here, this sounds so positive, the note of hope is the only note that can help us or save us from falling to the bottom of the heap of evolution, because largely, about all a human being is, anyway, is just a hoping machine.
His folk insight is remarkable, and I think Woody. There were others as well in other genres, but Woody is one of the principal people who planted a seed about what was possible through music, and of course artists from Bob Dylan to Bruce Springsteen to John Lennon, spread worldwide, picked up on this and carried it through in their own work. It's become such an integral part of our popular music today, and I mean it extends even to hip hop. I mean, Woody had a whole series of tunes he called Talkin' Blues, where he just kind of popped out a rhythm on the guitar, but then told a talking story over top the rhythm. One could see connections there to that same device.
Well, and that's the kind of thing
one of the people.
Excuse me, that's
coming
the kind of
up here.
Go ahead.
The last I heard she was coming is a rap artist who does a rap version of "This Land Is Your Land." So the ties are all there. But Woody, he had a book of songs that I always loved the title, and I'm using it for some of our little panels. Just simply hard-hitting songs for hard-hit people.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. I mean, he was dirt poor. He was an Okie. Went through the Great Depression, World War II. He wrote. I mean, this sort of blew me away. During the war, he took an active part in with his music, and even wrote what would be considered pro-war music, because he was definitely, very much behind getting the fascists.
Absolutely. There were some odd moments in his songwriting history. I know one story that's come to light is that he had written a song that had some lines that were a little disparaging to African American people. Probably just out of pure naivete, but when he realized and heard from people that this was hurtful, he bent over backwards, and never visited that again. Pete Seeger told me about the song "Union Made" and how that came to be. Woody was writing labor union organizing songs, trying to get people to rally at a time, when exploitation was right out there on the table in plain view. And some women said, Woody, it's always about guys in your tunes. What about women? And he, came up with "Union Made" to speak to that. It still had, some issues, but over the years it's become a pretty powerful song.
Yes, it has.
Standing up for women as well.
Absolutely. It just occurs to me. So, born in Oklahoma, and I know that the big, there's a big celebration there that was held already. But I'm thinking,
that's right.
What an uncomfortable fit for such a red state. And I don't know if Oklahoma is a right-to-work state, but I bet it's not exactly what you think of as a union-friendly.
Well, you're right on the nose. It's actually been a rather contentious issue in Okemah, Oklahoma, where Woody grew up. For years, the town simply ignored the fact that they had a famous son over these sorts of, political issues. He's a communist. He's a socialist. This kind of thing. It was only in recent years, probably within the last decade, that the city fathers came around to recognize.
Sure, but hey, why?
The greatness of this guy.
Come on, they came around because they saw, hey, this is a potential cash cow.
You're so right.
Come on.
You're right about that.
We could monetize this commie.
I don't want to be quite that cynical about it, but yeah, absolutely, there's that. But I think a lot of people in that region, were just felt that it was time to flip the switch a bit and give Woody credit where it was due. Ironically, Woody's father was a politically active, tended to be towards the right, the conservative side in Oklahoma when Woody was coming up. Wrote columns for the local newspapers and this sort of thing. What I have always found interesting is that Woody used his father's very methodology, but flipped it, to a more progressive way of looking at the world. It's fascinating.
So you mentioned that he had a number of, not good marriages and fathered a lot of kids that he didn't really father in any real way.
Right.
Did he have a relationship? I mean, so Arlo has certainly picked up and gone on and kept the legacy alive as well. Did Arlo have a relationship really with his father?
Well, Arlo was too young. I've spoken with Arlo a little about that, and I can't claim to know a lot about it. But there's a wonderful tune, that Woody wrote called "Good Night." I think it's "Good Night, Little Arlo." But they were babies, and I think they did have a relationship with Woody. But as many people know, Woody was suffering from Huntington's chorea, and it basically shut him down when he was a relatively young man, and he simply was hospitalized. We're talking here about, 61 or so. This is when Bob Dylan
visited him,
floated from Minnesota to New York, and made it a point to visit Woody in the hospital.
Hey, Woody Guthrie, I wrote you a song.
It's a song, that was one of the first songs I learned to perform. Hey, Woody Guthrie, I wrote you a song about this funny old world that's coming along. It's sick and it's hungry, it's tired and it's torn. It looks like it's dying and it's hardly been born. That's Bob Dylan.
That's right.
Singing to Woody Guthrie,
Wow. I get chills.
Oh, it's a great song.
So
hope it gets sung while we're up here.
I do.
And it's interesting. Pete Seeger. I got to sit head to head with Pete, toe to toe, with my camera in his face as he talked to me about issues relating to Woody. But the one thing he did is he recorded the opening for the Friday night concert, greeting everybody. And the first thing that's going to happen that night is the lights will go down, and there will be Pete Seeger on a giant screen greeting everybody, apologizing for not being there at age 93. It was a lot of wear and tear. But he coughs in the middle of it. He goes, so clear your throats, and get ready to celebrate Woody at 100 by singing along. And that's all still in there with Pete. And
wow.
I'm excited about playing that night.
Hey, Jerry, I have been really, this is awful of me. adequately introduced you. I mean, it's just all there. Here's Jerry Zolten, and who are you that you got in that? Okay, the Penn State.
I've been asking myself that same question for decades. But well, you know, I grew up in the Keysport, right there outside of Pittsburgh. I'm a professor here at Penn State. From my Pittsburgh days, I've been heavily involved in American roots music. I was a big Porky fan as a kid coming up, and many other things. And I've had the good fortune to combine, a professorial career with writing books about things like black gospel music. I've produced CDs by Grammy-winning performers, and it's put me in a position at this point to to be involved in putting together an event like this.
You're an odd one, and you were out this morning, visiting flea markets, which you do on Wednesdays?
From my Porky days, and if anybody listening remembers me from back in the day, I used to spin records at the record hops back in the 60s, and I'm still an avid record collecting nut. And we have these wonderful Wednesday morning flea markets out here in central PA. You can buy, the latest, freshest produce, buy local and all that. But I find rare recordings left and right, and that's a real passion for me. And I'm not talking about rock and roll 45s. I'm talking about the old wind-up Victrola 78s from back in the 20s and 30s, the real record of American roots music. That's a real passion of mine. Every now and then I even find 78 by Woody or Pete Seeger or the Weavers, who a lot of people may recall.
Hey, it just occurred to me. Are you? And I should, for people who want to know what. The last time I was with you, it's the first time it occurred to me that this guy that you're listening to is this. If you want to visualize him, is the spitting image of Albert Einstein.
Yeah, I always thought if I wrote a bio, I will call it Becoming Einstein, in the sense of the term, a nice-looking Einstein, as well as Becoming Einstein. I can't control it. I even tried cutting my hair and my mustache, and a week later somebody came up to me and said, you look exactly like Einstein, so what can I do,
You do. I don't know why it had
There's no getting around it.
No. And the other thing I want to ask you, are you aware of the Zolten thing with the pirates?
Oh, boy, am I ever. I wish I had been smart enough to license the name.
Yeah, I wish you had, too. But
I got to get a T-shirt when I'm in town next, that, the power of Zoltan. Of course, I spell it Zolten, and they spell it Tan.
Well.
But I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a riot. Actually,
it's hilarious. The other odd thing about Zolten, by marriage, I'm related to Penn Jillette, and he named his son Zolten Jillette. So suddenly, this name is getting out there. Who would have thought? It's so bizarre.
Zolten Jillette. God, that's a great name. Actually, that's a good name.
Well, I think Zolten was the name of Dracula's dog.
Really? Is that
I think so. If I'm remembering correctly, so it's got some interesting roots.
Jerry,
it means it means Sultan, the king, that kind of thing. It's a very common Hungarian, European, Middle European, often a first name.
So. Also, I just want to point out that I was surprised when I looked at the website that, Vienna's having a huge concert and Germany's got festivals going on. And I think of Woody Guthrie as just sort of quintessentially ours, American. And I guess I was surprised by that. I guess I shouldn't have been.
No, in fact, last summer I spoke about Woody in Spain. And I thought, well, they're not going to have a clue what I'm talking about, but folks there, who came to the session, 40, 50 people, knew exactly who I was talking about. I think it's remarkable that so many of our musical icons, have somehow found, cachet in other parts of the world. We don't do that here so much. We don't embrace the heroes of other cultures as much as our people like Woody, because I think of what they stood for, and freedom and the people's voice and all that good stuff. It's sort of heartening, you know.
Well, we've only got a few minutes more, and I want to, again, let people know that it's a full weekend of stuff going on.
Yes, and I want to get in there should be a great concert on Saturday night. People like Bob Weir and Rob Wasserman and Janice Ian and Sarah Jarose have committed to coming to town. We're still working out some details.
Okay.
So I have to tell people to stay tuned, but that's in the works, too.
Okay, and also a concert Friday night, and all these workshops, and
that's right.
All this
that's
stuff
right.
going on. This is the
and a songwriting contest moderated by Peter. You can enter via the website.
Oh, okay, and the website again is Woody at 100.
That's the national website. If you do a little Googling and make it Woody at 100 at Penn State, you'll come to Penn State's website.
Okay.
And it's a picture by Robert Crumb of Woody Guthrie, and everything you need to know you can link up to. Or if you're interested in submitting an original song to the contest, go to Music to Life, one phrase, music, the number 2, life. And on the right, you'll see Masterclass Songs of Social Change. Click on that, and you can become, you can enter and get a chance to perform your song at our Friday night concert.
Ooh, that's
with
totally cool.
Paul Stuckey.
Woo, that's totally cool. I love that.
I think so.
Okay. Robert Crumb, isn't he a friend of yours, too?
He is, and he's going to be coming here in the spring. We can talk about that when that time comes.
God, you get around. Did you find any great 78s today on your flea marketing?
I got some wonderful carrots and, and green beans and a melon, a locally grown melon, and a handful of old soul records.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good haul. Hey,
I'm a happy camper.
I bet you are.
That's all I need.
Jerry, it's always good to talk to you, and I hope to make it this weekend. That weekend. I really do.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Let me know, and we'll do our best to accommodate.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Do we have to take a break, or don't we? We don't. No. I just want to end on this. Here's another Woody Allen quote. Should be fine to get us back on the road.
Guthrie.
What did I say? I said Woody Allen again. Jesus, God almighty. I mean, it's a wonder I didn't say Woody Woodpecker. Boy, I've been doing some hard traveling. My brain is completely fried. Woody says, there's a feeling in music, and it carries you back down the road you've traveled and makes you travel it again. Sometimes when I hear music, I think back over my days, and a feeling that is 50-50 joy and pain swells like clouds, taking all kinds of shapes in my mind. Music is in all the sounds of nature, and there never was a sound that was not music. The splash of an alligator, the rain dripping on dry leaves, the whistle of a train, a long and lonesome train whistling down, a truck horn blowing at a street corner speaker, kids squalling along the streets, the silent wail of wind and sky caressing the breasts of the desert. Life is this sound, and since creation has been a song. And there is no real trick of creating words to set to music once you realize that the word is the music and the people are the song. Wow. Woody Guthrie. Think about going. That thing sounds really wonderful. Okay? Enjoy another beautiful August day. Tomorrow Tom Sokolowski comes in, and hope you'll join us.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.